JAMA Cardiology found that of 100 adult patients in Germany who'd recovered from the COVID-19 infection, 60% had findings of ongoing myocardial inflammation. A recent review of myocarditis listed with the National Center for Biology to postpone the season. If that's the case, Nebraska and Ohio State and a couple other schools are looking to go to the Big 12 for the year. And the SEC is looking to poach teams for the year. Money over medicine is what college football is right now. Money over your student athletes' well-being is what we're looking at right now. The Mid-America Conference came out over the weekend and canceled completely. The Mountain West canceled today, or postponed. There's a big difference between postpone and cancel, so we'll try to always use postpone. Yesterday, Sports Illustrated's Ross Dellinger came out and said there are meetings that are being planned for this week across the sport of football with the expected resolution of postponing all fall sports until 2021. Jim Harbaugh said that this virus can be controlled and handled. Well, it hasn't been yet, Jim. Has it? Scott Frost hasn't. You're not thinking of your student athletes. You're just thinking of the money. Penn State coach, Shane Franklin, same thing. You're not thinking of the money. And let's be honest, high school and college kids are not doctors either. Okay? They are not anywhere close to knowing anything about COVID-19. So Trevor Lawrence can tweet out all he wants that, yeah, we want to play. Well, you know what? We want you to play, but we want you to be safe in the long run. We want you to be safe in the long term. There's a Florida State basketball player, Florida State basketball player. What's his name? Michael Ojo died Friday at the age of 27. He was over in Belgrade. Scott Frost, look at Jim Harbaugh's comments. James Franklin. It's all about the money. It's all about the Benjamins. They don't care about the student athlete's health. The presidents of the universities appear to, but it appears most athletic directors do not. The Mountain West postponed today. The MAC did over the weekend. Those are two FBS conferences. That's 26 teams. Said, yeah, we're going to worry about safety a little bit. You want to weigh in? You can. You can tweet, you can call, you can text, you can Facebook, you can get a hold of me anyway. Email if you want to. JasonWalkerSports@gmail.com, @JWalkerSports on the Twitter, Facebook as well. My number's out there. There's no guarantee of safety right now, folks. And that is what is the scary part. This isn't fear-mongering. This isn't fear porn, as Clay Travis likes to put out. These are actual, legitimate concerns. You okay with sending your 17-year-old out to play a game of football this fall? Just so you can root them on, have a senior season? Sucks for the kids. What if they have a long-term effect? What if they die? Because this is legit. We're going to talk to a great athlete next, great student athlete. His name is Noah Kovic. He won a big wrestling match, big tournament, and we want some positives. So we'll talk to Noah when we come back here on the Jason Walker Show. Saints volleyball coach Mo Boyle coming up as well. Stick with us. Have you thought about buying a home and just don't know where to begin? Well, when it comes to one of the most important purchases one can make, we understand it can be frustrating and confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Let the Major Mortgage team help you with all your mortgage needs. Major Mortgage means major service, and we would love the opportunity to help you today. Give J.R. McFadden, NMLS number 1246357, a call today at 406-465-1918, or you can visit him at 2001 11th Avenue, Building A, Suite 3 in Helena. Major Mortgage is a division of AMCAP Mortgage, NMLS number 129122, equal housing lender.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show. Do you love to look at photos of Montana, from animals to landscapes and more? Are you looking for a place to get your senior pictures or family portraits done? Are you a business owner looking to upgrade the decor in your offices? Well, look no further than Mark LaRoe Photography. Mark has been shooting beautiful photos all across the Treasure State, from rodeos to portraits, and would love to work with you. Visit marklaroephotography.com to see many masterpieces of his work, then give him a call to schedule your own photo shoot. Or to purchase one of his fantastic pieces, stop by Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery on Custer in Helena. marklaroephotography.com.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Welcome back to the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back on a Monday, Jason Walker Show, Major Mortgage Man Cave. Mo Boyle, head coach of Carroll College Volleyball, coming up.
You know, I've been kind of concerned, but I also know that the CDC is kind of running the tournament, so I'm not as concerned because I know they know what they're doing.
Yep, no, definitely. And, of course, you guys are probably getting tested a lot, aren't you? How many tests have you had?
I haven't even had one.
Oh, wow, nice. Well, that's even better. It means you haven't been sick. Noah Kovic joining us here on the Jason Walker Show. Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline. All right, take me through this wrestling tournament you just won, a little over a week ago, and it was Greco-Roman style.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. There was 90 state champs total in the high school division, and I think there was like 300 total kids. So I had finals. I beat the kid 6-1, and he was also a state champ from Oregon.
Wow. So where were all these kids from?
Most of them were from, it was like a Western states kind of thing. So most of them were from the surrounding states. But I had a kid from California, 2 from Oregon, and 1 from Washington.
Nice. That's got to give you confidence as you get ready for the upcoming year.
Yes, it does.
Hey, Noah Kovic, our guest here, Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline. I got to ask because, you're dealing with what's the difference between a state tournament and what you just won a week ago? Because there's not all these champions at a state tournament at Metro Park. But there's a lot, but they're not all runners up and all these, what'd you say, 90 state champs at this deal over the weekend.
I think it was a lot different just because there's not a lot of stress. I don't really have to prove myself, so I can just go out there and have fun. Nice.
Hey, would you rather win? All right, so you had a 13-2 technical fall win and a 2-0 win. Obviously the pin is the best, but would you rather win by tech or win a close decision?
It definitely feels way better to win by tech over some good kids who are definitely know what they're doing, compared to a 2-0 to kids who know what they're doing.
Right, because I ask because is it easier mentally during the match? You're like, man, I got the one wrapped up. Let's just cruise to the end, as opposed to fighting to the very end, whether you're up 2-0 or you need a takedown to win 3-2, so to speak, or there's a lot of stress level if it's closer. So do you prefer those blowouts?
I definitely do, because it just kind of lets me know that I'm dominating them and I'm better than them.
Where was this tournament?
When was it, or what was it?
Where was it?
Oh, it was in Fairview, Utah.
Oh, okay. Great tournament win, man. And that's awesome. And like you said, you don't have pressure to prove yourself at something like this, but at the end of the day, it's still pretty impressive for you. I mean, we talked about your confidence, but you know that you can compete with anybody in the country now. It's not just the state of Montana.
Yeah, it's super cool to know that, but I know it's super cool. Yeah.
That's a great way to phrase it. Take me through your preparation. What was different between state and this tournament?
Well, before state, it was kind of nerve-wracking, and I was only working on things that I knew I was good at to just kind of get them solidified for the state tournament. But for these kind of tournaments, I'm having a lot of fun at practice, and I'm not worried about working on the things I'm super good at. It's more of just working on things I'm not good at and trying them out in these tournaments that don't matter as much to me.
That is very cool. And then you just go out and win. I mean, it's just what's coming up? How many tournaments you got the rest of the summer?
Well, I think I'm going to be going to preseason nationals, which is October 6th, but that'll probably be my last tournament before high school season just because of COVID cancel and everything.
Yeah. Are you worried about your upcoming season and the fall with everything at Capitol High? Are you worried that you're going to be online only?
I'm not too worried. I know that Capitol's doing everything that they can to make sure that our school in our senior year is going to be the best it can be. But I know when it comes to wrestling, I'm a little worried, but that's just the way that life goes sometimes. And when it's time to wrestle, it's time to wrestle, and it's not about having friends. It's just about the sport.
Love that. Noah Kovic joining us here, Jason Walker Show. A couple final questions for you, but I know you've been practicing outside of the norm of the school, and how has your summer practice schedule been different this year than opposed to last year pre-COVID?
Well, I'm making a lot of trips in my car by myself to Bozeman and Three Forks, just keep out wearing a mask there or all the precautions with the whole virus.
Would it be hard to wear a mask while you wrestled?
Oh, I don't think I could do it.
Is it the breathing aspect of it, or just because, I mean, the headgear itself is bad enough to kind of keep on your head during a match. I can't imagine that the mask would be any easier.
Yeah, I think, it definitely affects your breathing, but it's also just super uncomfortable to wear when you're wrestling. And it definitely will come off just with how wrestling works.
So how's your weight been? Holding steady, or you increased at all? To move?
Definitely overtime flyby or an ankle pick. Those are definitely the two things that have brought me a lot of success.
How many pins do you have in your career?
Oh, I don't keep track.
You told me that back in February too. You don't know how many matches you won last year either.
No, I don't keep track. I just wrestle.
You just go out and win. That's all you do. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. What's the outlook for the Bruins wrestling squad this year?
I think we're going to be a top 3 school this year. We got a lot of top kids and a lot of kids who are willing to put in the work to be good. And I don't think a lot of programs around the state have that right now. And we have a lot of experienced kids who have been put on the varsity team as a freshman when we were struggling as a team. And I think now it's going to show this year.
That would be awesome. I know Coach Mahane has done a hell of a job over there at Capitol. And when you look at the guys that have had success the last couple of years, they're all back. And that just helps you guys as a team. And the young kids can definitely learn something from you guys. This is cool.
Yeah, it's super nice. I mean, we definitely lost 2 of our better kids this senior year, but we got kids who have been working with them for the past 3 years who are right there with them, who are going to be able to definitely fill in their shoes.
How's your brother going to do?
I think he's going to win a state title. He's wrestling all summer. He's been working out a lot with me, and he's looking super tough.
Who wins, you or him?
Me, of course. He's almost scored a few times.
I got you.
He's almost scored a few times.
Gotcha. And you can't let him win, right? Because that's false confidence.
No, I can't give him any pride when it comes to wrestling.
Noah Kovic, our guest here. All right, you said you were driving to Bozeman and Three Forks a lot. What's your music choice on the road?
I definitely listen to a podcast. It's a lot easier to drive.
So you're listening to the Jason Walker Show podcast. while you drive?
Oh, every time. Every time.
Oh, man, you're the best. Hey, congratulations on the big win and continued success. And stay safe, my man. And look forward to talking to you this winter when we get going for wrestling.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, and have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. That's Noah Kovic. He just won a big tournament down in Utah. What a stud. He is so good at what he does, and he's funny too. What a great kid. Great family. And if you missed anything, you can listen later on the JasonWalkerShow.com, and we'll have the entire show in its entirety up. Hopefully interruption-free. We've had a few interruptions today. So there you go. Noah Kovic, congratulations. Great news. Great stuff. And that brings me to our auto contest performance of the week. We saw some great nominees. Saw the Bozeman Bucks repeat as state American Legion champs at AA. The Billings Blue Jays winning the state A title. There was some, and you go down and smoke them like he did. That's awesome, man. So that's our auto contest performance of the week is Noah Kovic for his winning last week down at Utah. All right, we're going to come back, and when we do, we're going to talk some volleyball. And we talked to Dave Thorvaldson last week. What does the soccer season move to the spring mean? And how does that affect recruiting? How does it affect preparation? How does it affect a lot of things? Well, we're going to talk to Mo Boyle because the Frontier Conference moved the volleyball season to the spring. And we'll ask her a lot of those questions, and we'll find out what she says. When we come back, Jason Walker Show, this segment brought to you by Rutgers Furniture. We're coming right back. Stay with us.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rutgers Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rutgers, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rutgers Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Dinner's Done Right is open and ready for you to stop in and stock up for the summer. How does a Big Sky flank steak sound? Or a sage roasted pork loin? June's menu also includes a Parmesan tilapia and a variety of fantastic chicken cuisines and more. And if that's not enough, Dinner's Done Right's Grab and Go Soup, Salad, and Nacho Bar is back as well, with one exception. The delightful staff now will make it for you. And don't forget deliveries to Bozeman and Great Falls on select days. Stop in at 1212 Cedar Street in Helena or visit dinnersdoneright.com.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Have you thought about buying a home and just don't know where to begin? Well, when it comes to one of the most important purchases one can make, we understand it can be frustrating and confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Let the Major Mortgage team help you with all your mortgage needs. Major Mortgage means major service, and we would love the opportunity to help you today. Give J.R. McFadden, NMLS number 1246357, a call today at 406-465-1918, or you can visit him at 2001 11th Avenue, Building A, Suite 3 in Helena. Major Mortgage is a division of AMCAP Mortgage, NMLS number 129122, equal housing lender. Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show. Do you love to look at photos of Montana, from animals to landscapes and more? Are you looking for a place to get your senior pictures or family portraits done? Are you a business owner looking to upgrade the decor in your offices? Well, look no further than Mark LaRoe Photography. Mark has been shooting beautiful photos all across the Treasure State, from rodeos to portraits, and would love to work with you. Visit marklaroephotography.com to see many masterpieces of his work, then
give them a call to schedule your own photo shoot or to purchase.
We'll go from there. But I want to bring in our next guest on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline, the longtime successful volleyball coach at Carroll College, Mo Boyle. Coach, how are you?
Good, thanks, Jason. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's my pleasure. How's your summer been?
Good. I don't know when spring ended and summer began, but it's still going.
We've been able to and lucky enough to see do all this through all this COVID stuff almost every Wednesday. Your son Kieran put on a basement concert with the little sister and with mom sometimes on the piano as accompaniment. It's been kind of fun to watch. It's been awesome.
Oh, good. I try the best I can to stay out of those concerts, and sometimes he calls me up to do the one song that I can play. But he's been trying to keep people entertained about once a week, but he's really waned lately, so try to get him back in there.
He definitely has. It was fun early, and then he was almost like, oh, you know what? I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not going to do this anymore.
Yeah, that's not it. He's a teenager, and I think he likes to sleep or go out with his friends.
Yeah,
so.
There you go. Mo Boyle joining us here, Jason Walker Show. All right, the announcement last week, the Frontier Conference moving the volleyball season from the fall to the spring. It is a bummer, but what were your initial thoughts, and how are you feeling after the weekend?
Total bummer. I really feel like it could have been an opportunity for at least a little bit of normalcy for some people. I do believe that volleyball is one of the sports that you can control and disinfect accordingly. You know, we don't touch unless it's an accident and they end up tangling feet under the net and end up with a sprained ankle. We could exchange the ball every play. You know, I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do. Done their requirements for graduation, and they can come back in the spring and play. You know, it's kids like her that are done. And, you know, as much as I'm going to try to help her fulfill that last year of eligibility next spring, she's not alone. You know, there's
Right.
a lot of kids who are in the same boat. And so, you know, those are the kids that you feel for. And, and it was a plan A. And if plan A didn't work out, then we would move to spring, and that was plan B. Well, now volleyball's in the spring, and what's plan B? You know?
Right. How much of an effect did Providence going online only have on the Frontiers' decision, do you feel? Because that's a bummer, too, especially for those kids.
Absolutely. And I do feel like the conference and the presidents obviously made a
thing is the health and safety of the players comes first and foremost. And at the smaller levels, like we see at the NAI, D2, D3, I can believe that. I'm not even going to touch the NCAA TV contracts, especially with football. But when you look at the health and safety, and it's, to me, Coach, it's the long-term effects of like a myocarditis and a heart issue and lung issues that we just don't know anything about yet. And to me, that's the scary part of just sending our kids out to play a sport.
Oh, I think so too. And we don't know. And I think that's the biggest issue with where we're at right now. And some people have symptoms and some don't. I mean, there's been those stories as well. And we've had a handful of kids at Carroll over the summer who have tested positive, and some with and some without symptoms.
Yeah.
And are they false positives? Are they real positives? You know, and they serve their quarantine and we move on. But we don't know. It's too soon to know after they serve their quarantine what it has done or if it has done anything to them.
How did this affect your spring? I talked to Dave Thorvaldson, who normally you guys are in Vegas together because you have big volleyball and softball or soccer recruiting stuff in the spring. How did this affect you for volleyball recruiting?
Well, right now, significantly, simply because a lot of these high school sports are moving forward, and not just in Montana, but I think that it's going to change the club scene because club basically goes from, you know, when we get done in November, early December through May. Sometimes those tournaments go into June. That's where we do a ton of recruiting for, you know, the next 2, sometimes 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a couple signed for 2021. And at this time I'm relieved about that, but I still have spots to fill and kids in line to do that, but I haven't had them on campus yet. And at this point, I don't know when that will be, because you want to get them on campus when your kids have an opportunity to play with them, and we can't play right now.
How have you been able to, as a team, hold any summer workouts?
We met as a team on Zoom every week, starting in March, and they had workouts to do. You know, Jim Hogan is our strength and conditioning coach for volleyball, and he kept them pretty busy, even to the point where his daughter was demonstrating, the lifts and the exercises that he had them doing without a weight room. And so he's been extremely creative in trying to help them stay afloat in that way. But they also did Zoom workouts together where they could dial in, and as many that could do it without, having to go to work or doing their nanny job or whatever it was. If they could dial in, they did. And they did some CrossFit workouts together or some high intensity workouts together via Zoom. And I think that's kind of the generation that we're raising, I guess. Yeah. And the accountability piece is through a computer or a phone. But at least they have the creativity to do it. And I do know that when we Zoomed last week, when I told them that our season had been pushed to the spring, it was pretty devastating. And so, as much as that was fun and the novelty is great, I don't think it's really what they want to do.
Yeah, there's a lot. If the fall sports getting the hose right now, if you look at it, I guess is the term to use. We don't know about winter sports. We're not even sure if there's going to be a season in the spring yet. And I think that's a scary part for a lot of these, especially the seniors at this level, because at any level, but in the NAI, this is it. They're not going on to an Olympic career, so to speak.
No, right. And my message to my team has been, and even since March, there are kids who were in spring sports last year who maybe got to practice a couple of months but never got to play. And that may be the case for next spring as well. If we get to play at all, we better be fortunate to know that we got to play one more day or one more week or one more season, because there are kids who have already lost the season and had to make their decisions early, because this didn't just start with this fall. And I think we forget about those kids who had to deal with this last spring, or those basketball teams that didn't get to finish their national tournament.
Right. Well, Coach Mo Boyle, our guest here, Jason Walker Show, with volleyball and moving to the spring, and it's the same case with football, especially at the NAI level. A lot of these kids do multiple sports at Carroll College, at Tech, at Rocky, other schools, including volleyball players that are either on the track team, whether it's indoor and outdoor, or other things. This is a multi-sport athletes we're talking about. How will volleyball moving to the spring affect a couple of your girls that do track?
Yeah, it's going to affect them. And, we're trying to, at this point, as of today, and that's all we can work with is today, we're going to try to work with those kids who are volleyball and track kids to give them the opportunity to pursue both to the best of their ability without, sacrificing to the team's detriment. And, they came here, a lot of them came here for that reason, right, that they could do both. And as best we can, we're going to try to provide that opportunity without them kind of getting in the way, but making it more of a coach-led discussion so that, it isn't anything that they regret later on.
Well, a big question with that then, Coach, would be like scholarship money, because a lot of the student athletes get scholarship money from both. So if they have to choose, do they lose that and then have to pay the school? There's other decisions than just, well, we're moving the season from this fall to the spring. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that have to be worked out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really believe that isn't, at this point, that's not the student athletes, cause to fight.
Right.
I think that's coaches trying to make sure that we have all the information, and the NAI passing down whatever guidelines that they have, because hopefully they've thought about some of these things and are not putting the colleges and universities in a tough situation where we do have to make sure that we really do have to make sure that the students come first.
Right.
It can't be a second tier decision. They have to have made this decision based solely on the student athletes. And if they do that, then all the guidelines should point to what's best for the student, not what's best for the team or the coach or the school.
Mo Boyle, our guest here. Jeff Choate, the head coach at Montana State football last week, basically ripped apart the NCAA and the Power 5 conferences and said we should have been making these decisions back in June. Do you kind of feel the same way with the NAI as far as you got to make these decisions a lot earlier than, I mean, you're supposed to start practice, this week?
Yeah, our girls were supposed to report in the next 2 days. And, really our first competition was going to be next week. And
Right.
so, I really believe these decisions could have been made a few months ago. I think we all saw some writing on the wall. But at the same time, we are in unprecedented times where nobody's been through this before. And my mom is in her 80s, and she remembers the polio epidemic and all that did to the world at that time. And nobody really knew anything then either.
Right.
And not that we haven't come very far. It's just about every 80 to 100 years, we have something that I don't know, uproots our lives and makes us rethink the importance of things. And I know that financially there are schools that are relying on athletics. I know that there are student athletes relying heavily on athletics. I know that athletics is heavily relying on these kids to come to school. And at the same time, we each individually have to do what's right for us. And that has to be, whatever that decision is, has to be okay with everybody.
Yeah, no, and nobody's going to be pleased with literally any decision that's made because people are going to be upset whether you play in the fall, whether you play in the spring. I feel for you guys, and I told Coach Thorvaldsen this last week. I can't imagine being in your shoes where you have to tell your team, like, hey, we're going to practice today, but after that, we don't know what the heck's going on. And I feel for you guys.
Yeah, I remember in the spring when we had our last practice and then all of a sudden everything was canceled and kind of out of the blue, because you knew something was going on, but I don't think anybody really realized. I remember my kids getting sent home from school and you think, oh, are they going to be going back next week? Are we going to be going back in 2 weeks? And here we are months and months later wondering if we're going back to school right now.
Right.
It really is something that I think that people have had to take a hard look at their lives to make sure that the decisions that they're making are the right decisions for them, because nobody can make them for us right now.
Had the season gone on in the fall, but they moved the championships to the spring like they did a few weeks ago, would you guys still have been playing? And then how difficult would that have been to play a full season in the fall? And this is hypothetical, but then wait months and months before a championship.
Well, I really believe that if we were playing in the fall, we would get into the season and chances are high that we would be paused at some point during the season, right?
True. Yep.
And maybe then you move the rest of the season to the spring. Now, had we completed a season in the fall and we have our, Frontier Conference champion, then I think you maybe tune up for a couple of weeks before the national championship and you move forward with your champion. But really, that's what it looked like. And I don't know if anybody really thinks that we're going to get a full season in the fall, whether their conferences are playing or not, but the chances are pretty slim to get through it anyway.
Well, it's going to be a very tough fall. Like you said, we don't even know if our kids are going to school from kindergarten to college. So
correct. Yeah, there's some states that they have shut their schools down already.
Yep. Yeah. In Montana, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I think Helena's looking some online and some in person. So who knows? And I know my biggest fear, Coach, is that when kids come back to campus next week, because school's supposed to start on the 17th, that we're going to see a big explosion of this virus in a couple of weeks around Labor Day, because they're not coming from just Helena to go to school at Carroll. They're coming from literally all over the country.
Right.
And that's scary.
And Yeah, and not just Labor Day, but then people will gather at Labor Day, and you're going to have another jump 2 weeks after that.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we have. There's plenty of hardship to come, I think, and it's really going to be a matter of time before we see what happens.
Well, we're on your side, Coach. I'm always rooting for you because you're one of the best. Keep those concerts coming. Tell Karen to get it going again. We miss it. And I did put in a request. I think the one song, Paco Bell Canon in D, you killed it on the piano, and he's the best there is on the violin. So
thanks. I'll tell him.
You do that. Hey, we appreciate it, Coach. Take care, and we'll talk down the road.
Thanks so much.
Yep, that is Carroll volleyball coach Mo Boyle joining us here. Jason Walker Show on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. This segment brought to you by our friends at Mark LaRoe Photography. Mark is offering an unbelievable deal. Two of them actually. Ready for this? If you purchase a senior portrait package or a family portrait package, you get a free 8x10 canvas or matte print. If you purchase anything from marklaroephotography.com, such as this photo from the Ennis 4th of July rodeo from July the 3rd, this was taken during the Cowboy Prayer. That is for sale, and you get 20% off if you purchase at marklaroephotography.com by mentioning the Jason Walker Show. So to get there. Appreciate Mo Boyle joining us. Appreciate Noah Kovic joining us today. If you missed anything, you can go to jasonwalkershow.com. In about an hour, we'll have the show posted up, and you can rewatch or re-listen at however comfortable you feel. All right, so let's see. Today is August the 10th. It is National S'mores Day. It is National Connecticut Day and National Lazy Day. So there you go. 1934, Babe Ruth announced this would be his final season as a full-time player. 1944, Red Barrett of the Braves needed 58 pitches to pitch a 2-0 complete game shutout win. 58 pitches in 9 innings. Greg Maddux did it a couple of times under 80, I think 76, but 58 pitches for a complete game. Wow. 1975, Jack Nicklaus wins the PGA Championship, his 4th. 1980, he would win his 5th. 1977, the Phillies and Expos played a doubleheader, went till 3:23 in the morning. 1981, on this date, Pete Rose gathered his 3,631st career hit, breaking Stan Musial's National League hit record. 1984, the famous crash at the L.A. Olympics. Mary Decker and Zola Budd. Decker fell down, could not finish the race. Budd finished 7th. Mauricia Puccia of Romania would win that one. 1960, the L.A. premiere of the great Alfred Hitchcock thriller Psycho happened on this date in 1960 in Los Angeles. Let's do this.
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss? Time for the walk-off.
We learned that our Auto Concepts Performance of the Week, Noah Kovic, winning a big wrestling tournament down in Utah about a week ago. And congratulations. He beat a bunch of state champs and state runners-up from other states. There were 90 state champs at that tournament in Utah. That is so awesome. Congrats, Noah. And Mo Boyle got her thoughts on the season moving from the fall to the spring for volleyball in the Frontier. And I think we're going to see more and more of this. The Big 12, the Pac-12, probably tomorrow will announce that they're going to be postponing their season, whether it's to October, November start or to the spring. The Big 12 is still on the fence. We learned today that Scott Frost, the head coach at Nebraska, Nick Saban, the head coach of Alabama, Jim Harbaugh, head coach at Michigan, and Penn State's head coach James Franklin are all a bunch of idiots. Trevor Lawrence, the Clemson quarterback, great athlete, not so smart. People saying that kids are going to get sent home from if there's no football season in this fall are a bunch of idiots. Their kids aren't, unless they're going in person or online only learning, you're still going to be on campus. You're still, at the end of the day, and this goes to high school too, you are a student athlete. You're not going to be sent home if there's no fall football season on campus. Okay? If they move it to the spring You're still going to be on campus. If Montana State and UM and Carroll and Rocky and all the schools in Montana continue, aside from Providence, to have in-person learning, you're still going to be in person on campus. Trevor Lawrence saying and Nick Saban saying that they're safer on campus might be true, but saying that they're going to, get sick if they head home and get sent home, you're a bunch of morons. You don't know what you're talking about, Trevor Lawrence. You're not a doctor, and neither is Nick Saban. So that's just my thoughts. If you want to weigh in on any of this, you can. You can email me anytime. You can text, you can Facebook, you can get a hold of me. JasonWalkerSports@gmail.com, @JWalker on the sports on the Twitter, @JWalkerSports, and also on Facebook. And my phone number is right on the Facebook page. You can text, you can call. Put me on the show. I'll put you on. Thanks to Noah Kovic, Mo Boyle. Tomorrow, Kyle Mihelish, Capital football coach, going to sit in studio with us in the Major Mortgage Man Cave. Paul Schwedelson from the Bozeman Daily Chronicle will join us. We'll get his thoughts on a lot of the Jeff Choate conversation that's floating around and his news conference today. So we'll talk to him. And also this week, we have Scott Evans coming up. We're going to talk to Lance Hartzler of Northern Arizona, beat writer, and Nicole Rigoni from the Pac-12 Network will join us as well. It's going to be a big week. Lots of stuff is going to happen in college sports this week, and we'll keep you abreast of all of it right here on The Jason Walker Show. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 4. Kyle Mihelish in studio. We'll see you then. JasonWalkerShow.com if you missed anything. Bye.
The Jason Walker Show is produced by the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker